Who is it?
It's Simone, Aunt Irma. Your niece Eve's daughter?
Who?
It's Simone. Simone Russell. Eve's girl, do you remember me?
Of course I remember you. I'm not senile. You're the youngest child, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So how are you doing?
Fine when folks leave me alone. What do you want?
I came to wish you a happy birthday.
How'd you know it was my birthday?
Well, my mom keeps a calendar with everybody's birthday listed on it. It is today, isn't it?
As a matter of fact, it is. Didn't think anybody remember it, though. Let alone bring me a present.
Well, nobody should be alone on their birthday. Happy birthday, Aunt Irma.
This is nice, Simone. A book on African-American history.
So you like it?
Oh, yes. Looking through these pictures reminds me of the old days.
I thought it might. See, my mother never talks about her childhood or where she grew up, and I've always been curious.
Oh, things were different back then. Of course, by the time your mama came along, things were some better. But when I was a girl, things were pretty bad. We lived in the South, and people of color weren't treated very well then.
I learned about the civil rights movement in school. Didn't that help?
When it finally came, it helped some. At least we got to go to school closer to home instead of the little shack on the outskirts of town. Some kids had to walk for miles just to get to that little colored school.
It must have been awful.
It was. I remember when I was a girl, I was playing in the park by myself while my mama cleaned the house across the street. And this little white girl came along, and we started to play, and we were having a good time together, too. I thought we were making friends, and her family's maid came to get her, and she frowned and told her she wasn't supposed to be playing with me.
You mean because you were black and she was white?
That's right. Funny thing about it, the maid was black just like me. I just didn't get it.
I still don't get that kind of prejudice. But I can't believe people were that way back then.
Oh, yes. And it was hard being thirsty and trying to find a fountain for coloreds only, or a bathroom, because we couldn't use white folks' bathrooms. Maybe that's why I'm such a bitter old lady, huh?
You don't seem that bitter to me.
You don't think I'm a mean old hag?
No, I don't. Okay, you did scare me a little bit when I first came.
I'm sorry, honey. This is the best birthday I've ever had. I'm glad you came. Oh, my stars, will you look at that dress? Now, see, that's something you'd wear if you were stepping out. To a dance hall, I mean. Ooh, the music was hot, and so were we.
I wish I could see a picture of you when you were my age.
Oh, I wasn't near as pretty as you are. You must have lots of boys after you.
Do you really think I'm pretty?
Of course I do. Don't your mom and daddy tell you how pretty you are?
Not really. Whitney is their focus most of the time, and she's the pretty one.
Well, I think you are prettier, so there.
Thank you. I'm so glad I came today. I've been thinking a lot about you and how you're alone most of the time.
Well, that's real considerate of you, honey. I'm glad you came.
And it's so interesting for me to hear how you were when you were young, the hardships you had to go through.
Well, I'm just glad that you don't have to go through it, feeling like you're not as good as other folks, feeling different.
Feeling discriminated against.
Just be glad you're living in a different time.
I'm living in a different time, but I still feel discriminated against, like I don't fit in.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, why? This is the 21st century. You don't have to go through any of the things that I did.
I'm not talking about being black, Aunt Irma. I'm different in another way.
Another way? I don't understand.
I'm gay, Aunt Irma.
You what? Gay?
I'm a lesbian. I'd rather be with women than men.
I know what a damn lesbian is. I just can't believe you one of them. What's the matter with you, girl? Don't you know what you're doing is a sin? It's unnatural.
I thought that you would understand, Aunt Irma, after the way that you were discriminated against.
Understand? Well, I sure in hell don't understand. My own great niece. How can you be one of them?
It's not something that I chose, Aunt Irma. It's just the way I am.
Well, I don't want you here. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're just like your mama, who's nothing but a whore. And your Aunt Liz, who's meaner than a rattlesnake. Two evil sisters, and you just like them. Your sister had a brother's baby, and now you a lesbian. Ain't this a blip? The whole family's sick. So get out of here. I don't even want you in here. Here, take this damn book with you. And don't come back, you hear me? Crazy bunch of sickos.
Nobody wants me. Nobody understands.